We'll jump to the next question here, and we'll just get into a little bit more what you guys are building. What is differentiating? What products you have? I know something like Injective, they're building a lot of the infrastructure. Over at Cypher, you guys are building specific dated futures. So let's start with Spin here. I've been giving them the bottom of the stick. You guys can outline what specific derivatives are you guys focusing on. We'll jump over to Ryu, head over to Injective, and then finish up on Barett at Cypher.
Yeah, sure. Well, I mean, the product itself is somewhat kind of common and very well known. So it's a typical perpetual contract. The goal here is basically to be able to list as many liquid and especially liquid tail assets on the DEX, because we think that in terms of like let's say business and commercial strategy, like long tail assets with decent liquidity is something that drives traders to the new platform. We've seen that with kind of Binance and FTX. So having a strong product in general, plus the right assets on the platform, could drive the volumes and kind of benefit both like traders and the platform in terms of growth. And as I mentioned already, so we've been thinking a lot about the mobile side of the product, and it seems like as it at DYDX, for example, they've mentioned multiple times that there are not so many platforms that nail down the mobile part of the crypto trading. So Robinhood is brilliant at that, for example. And on the DEX market, there seems to be an opportunity to offer something. So I mean, a combination of the product and assets is something that we're looking at.
Definitely, yeah. That's super exciting to hear. And then we'll jump over to Eric just to hear what they're building over at Injective as well. Oh, we lost Eric. We'll jump over to Ryu and see if we don't get him back.
Yeah, totally. And so at 01, we're building all sorts of funding-based products right now. So right now we've launched with perpetual futures, and so nothing crazy about those. It's your typical mark price minus index price type funding rate. And we currently launched with 2 markets so far. We have a few markets coming up. We really built sort of 01 to scale to as many markets as possible, and so we'll be able to support collateral with up to 50 different tokens and up to 100 different markets. And really, the way we're thinking about this is like whatever markets the community wants to be like, that's sort of what direction we're going to go in. And sort of with regards to products, right? Like perpetual futures is only sort of the top of the iceberg for us. We're actually working on power perpetuals right now. For those who haven't heard, essentially they're similar to perpetual futures, except that instead of just simply being pegged to the index price, it's being pegged to the index price to some power. And so, for instance, the index price squared, right? And then we can sort of call that like squal for like squared Solana. On Ethereum, you've probably heard Opine have pushed out Squeeth, which stands for squared Ethereum, right? And happy to dive deeper into sort of why this is important and how power perps are different from other traditional products. But the TLDR really is like you have a very different payoff curve that is essentially convex, and so it provides different properties to traders, and actually allows a lot of composability with a lot of structured product teams that we're working with, Chest, Friction, Katana, and also allows just regular traders to take on different types of risks when it comes to trading and taking on various positions. Yeah, I'll keep it at that. I don't want to take up more time. But
No,
yeah.
that's great, Ria. And I'm curious if anyone on the panel here specifically has a question for Power Perpetuals. That would be fun. In general, I'm interested to check it out. Not sure I 100% understand it here on this panel, but if anyone has any questions for that on Power Perpetuals, that would be fun to ask about. If not, we'll jump over to Eric and he can outline what's going on at Injective.
Yeah, I think over at Injective, as a core contributor to a blockchain, there's a lot of work being done. And right now, I think the biggest thing that we're all extremely excited about is the Cosmos layer plus the smart contract behind it. Because right now, the Injective team is working on, first of all, the Cosmos integration, which is already live on testnet. And second of all, some of the core market making contracts that will enable automated strategies that are rival most of the sophisticated market makers within the industry right now, implementing Stoikov model on chain and allow kind of this instant creation of pool with far superior liquidity and slippage compared to any type of current AMM model. And that's simply because it's an order book infrastructure that allows that. And on top of that, there's just a lot of exciting things that's within this ecosystem. For example, more and more relayers that are spinning up, and also I would say there's also a global margining a mechanism that are being worked on right now. It appears to be the path where basically stablecoin will be utilized as kind of this global collateral to be able to cross margin across all the assets. But it's an active R&D session. So basically, a lot of possibilities are being worked on by the overall Injective community, and always something exciting to check out. Because there's progress every day on like all these new aspects.
Yeah, definitely great to hear about. And then I know, Barrett, I hinted a little bit what you guys are looking to build, but we'll jump over to you here to close this one out.
Yeah. So Cypher is again, dated futures on Solana. We have the capability for like doing synthetic assets, enabling the protocol to be leveraged for trading things such as like pre-IPO derivatives, pre-IDO derivatives. We can, structure products to design, DeFi interest rates, collection futures around NFTs. But we are focused on these like public markets upon like initial launch. Very exciting places to trade, in my opinion. There's no real great way to trade liquidly for pre-IPO or pre-token markets right now. And if you look at how token launches go and public launches, there's a lot of volatility in those like first like handful of days and weeks after something goes live, right? And these markets on Cypher can really help bring that price discovery forward to give a protocol or an organization a better understanding of what the market is already willing to pay and kind of eat up a lot of that volatility prior to a launch, right? And therefore, they can have a more stable launch. Their token price isn't going all over the place where they're rockets up and then rockets down. And I think that's something that will be very healthy for the market in the long run, right? And also give a lot of the people access to private capital markets that they haven't really had before, right? I think they're paying attention to a lot of CT. There's been like recent backlash around VCs, being able to get in earlier than the general community, and these types of markets are a way for enabling the community to participate in deciding what a protocol or an organization should be going public at, and allowing them to gain potential upside and downside in the earlier days before a token is launched.